Welcome, everyone. My name is Marina Antunes, Festival Director for Spark Animation, and I want to welcome you to this very special entry into our Meet the Filmmaker series. We have with us today the director of Tapir Memories, Pedro Nel Cabrera Vanegas. And I think it's worth mentioning that Tapir Memories was the winner of Best Student Film at this year's Spark Animation. So, Pedro, welcome to Spark.
Thank you so much. It's a big honor for me to be here with all of you. I'm excited to share my secrets today with all of you.
Well, I mean, let's start by talking a little bit about how, growing up in Colombia really affected the film and the story that you told. Can you share a little bit about your background and how your lived experience kind of like worked itself into the film?
I grew up in the countryside, in the south of Colombia, in a region that is called the Door of the Amazon in Caquetá. In 2001, it was considered like a red tiger because there was a lot of things happening there. So until I was 11 or 12, then we with my family, we moved to the city. So, but those years before that, they were the most precious year for me. I just grew up with animals, tapir, chigüiros, all animals that you can imagine. And I was also, interacting with all things regarding farming and all things that normal farmers in Colombia do. So, after this episode and all these conflicts, we moved to the city, and then I was already like affected in somehow. In that time, I didn't have that much in my head about how to tell a story or something like that, but I was always interested in stories. And I remember my first drawing when I moved to the city were on cardboard with charcoal. And I just scratched all those things that happen, like helicopters and or guys running. And yes, since then, that's one of my first memories that I had from this experience. And then everything went to more like what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do in my life. And then I decided to go for studying because that's the last option you have. And even though we were just a farmer family, then it was difficult, but I received a lot of support. And thanks to I think the energy that I show, and all the people who was around me were supporting me somehow. Yeah, just you can live here, or we just give you this and whatever you need. So yes, it was, I think, a big success for me to be able to study. I studied graphic design, and with my heart in film. And then when all this part was over, and then I started my dream to study film. And I discovered animation in the school, and I decided to go for it because it's the most, for me, complete and best medium to tell a story that story is your head, So yes, that's a little bit about my background.
But I mean, how do you end up, going from Colombia to Switzerland?
Yes, that's a good question. I think one thing that really helped me was just to dream. I was dreaming, even if I cannot reach it. I was dreaming all this time to study in Europe. I was considering also America. But in that time, the budget was quite tight. So I started to imagine without knowing anything, like, the money, the life, everything, just to go there alone. And I started to plan everything. I step by step, first with the language, second the money side, and then all the energy started to flow with me, and everything started to more like a sculpture, just forming and shaping everything. And and at the end I was interested in Switzerland because it's like the center of Europe, and you have a lot of interaction. and you have mountains here. So somehow I also like that. And the school was well known in that time. 5 years ago, when I started my research, I did a research, and yes, and then they sent me the letter, and that day I cried. So when I received the letter, it was like, okay, now I have it. It was this deep dream that I had to go outside, to see myself, to see my country, to see the whole world from this perspective. And yes, it was, yeah, so far my best experience I had.
I think it's so amazing because you talk about this sense of community, and the film really feels like you're bringing a small part of your community to the world. Can you talk a little bit about the process of, you had this experience, it was always in the back of your mind. You're now in film school working on a project. How do you decide that this is the story that you want to tell, that this was the right time to tell this?
Good question. Yeah, I think the making of Tapir Memories was really challenging for me. I think, yes, one of the big challenges I have faced in my life, and especially with this sensitive and complex topic. But for me, now is the time, because like we had some agreements already in Colombia with the groups, and we had some peace treatments already signed. So then I say, yes, the moment is that this is the time, this is the moment to start to speak about it. There are many people like writers, illustrators that are already, yes, showing all those things. And for me, being there, being in the core of this situation, and being able to get outside and to see myself is precious, because I don't know how many other people have been there, and that they can have really this connection, this direct, this physical interaction with the problem. And for me, putting a community, yes, that's human, and I wanted that. I wanted to join the people, not just for Colombia, but for everyone who can watch the film around the world, and that they can have at least that. It's such a tragedy, and I think that's the only way I could find to give to the people in general, that we are suffering. That's how life is working out. What can I bring for them? So okay, let's do it like this. Let's put them together. Let's give them some hope in this in these times. So yeah, I would say that.
Well, I think it's really interesting that you use the word hope, because one of the things that's really fascinating about Tapir Memories is that the film has this very beautiful, almost dreamlike, childlike design. You're dealing with such a difficult story, but at the end, it's also there's this glimmer of hope at the end. It ends on a it was almost like a positive note, right? That these people have found a community even after all this loss and tragedy, and there's happiness there. How important was it for you to make sure you ended on an upbeat beat?
Yes, as I said before, I think it was the only thing I could find to solve this problem, or to give something to the viewer. And I had some interviews with also with some women who were part of this conflict, and they also gave me some hints and a more realistic ending. And yes, based on those interviews, I could also look how deep I could go with this topic, like community. And yes, it was luck for me also to find them, and to be able to give something to the people when they watch the film. Because as I say, if I don't show that, then you are really sad about it, and that's not my intention here. My intention is that, okay, let's reflect about it, but we have a piece of hope in this film.
It's fascinating. I didn't realize that you had done interviews leading up to production. Was that a big part of your research as well? Doing interviews with, I don't know if it was survivors or just mothers or a number of different people.
Yes, it was not a big part. It was a small part in the yes, I would say in 1/3 of the film production. The film was made, or the story took me around 1 year development, and I wanted to have everything clear when for production. But during when I started the production, I have still some problems to solve with the rhythm and with the sound. And then I check out those interviews, and somehow I was also able to find some jazz pieces that could help me to go to this direction. Because even one of the endings that I had in the beginning was that the mother ended alone. And then I say, yes, but like I say, it's very sad just to leave her alone. And then in this exploration, or just looking at my sketches, I realized that yes, nowadays in Colombia there are women and communities that they are working for healing themselves, and also for for helping each other, and to look their missing or the loved ones.
Yeah, yeah. Can we talk a little bit about the look of the film? Because one of the things that was noted by the jury was how the film does have this very sort of dreamlike, childlike quality to it, and you're dealing with such a difficult story. How did you land on Tapir? How did your design process evolve? Can you talk a little bit about sort of like the artistic look and visual look of the film?
Yes, I think being a designer is an advantage when you become a filmmaker. But yes, in my side, I was also practicing every day. I got married with the brush, so the brush helped me to to also to go in this direction, more like simple shapes and strong shadows, but yes, just to be careful with the details. And it was a long process. I had some references from some artists. For instance, Edward Seago I think he's from the 60s, English watercolor artist. And I was studying his paintings, and Leonid Solfertis, also a Soviet artist. So I tried to analyze those images, and to see how I could go in because I like textures. I like this watercolor grainy style. So, and I wanted to keep my hand there, but doing it digitally, yes, it was challenges in somehow, and I had to do a lot of tests to be able to go in the look that I wanted. So, and the film has like two styles in somehow with the embroideries, and the embroideries are inspired in some of works by women who have been victims, and the other part is just from my own practice. Since I arrived in Switzerland, I was drawing almost every day with the brush and just collecting those drawings. And at the end, I think it was easier in the computer, because yes, my hand was so soft and used to this. How I say, like everything went just by itself. Your hand is just free and expressive. And with the color was very challenging, because I have never had experience with colors in such a way, like in a narrative way, like, okay, this is the city, this is the countryside, how can I make those contrasts? And yes, I started with this bright scenario, based on also on my hometown in Colombia, with those beautiful colors. And in the city was also another design process, because with the animals, with the shapes, all this, and somehow the city also became an enemy for the character. So it was a long process trying to find the balance with the color, with the shapes, with the characters, and with the lines. And for instance, the film has the trauma part or the memory part, you see that the lines are more squashed. So I enjoyed that part so much when I was doing the cleanup, because I didn't do cleanup. I clean up everything in that part. And it was quite relaxing, to leave my hand, as I say, going up and down. And yes, so it was quite nice there. And I enjoyed so much this part, the look, and to do the research about the color, and to ask for feedback to others, how also they read it, or suggestions and all this. And at the end, I was very happy because I just received small feedbacks for that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You
Yes.
don't just play the role of writer and director, like you were the character designer, the graphic designer, you did compositing, you did cleanup, you did the whole thing. Was that out of necessity, or was that because that's how you wanted to make sure you had a good grasp of the story?
I think both. The necessity, because I didn't have a budget for the film, and I also wanted to learn. I also wanted to, from the heart, from the roots, how a film is going to be made. And I also have somehow some passion for character design, and also for, as I said, for backgrounds. So somehow it was just to put everything there and to analyze and to correct and to fix. And I enjoy very much this process of being interacting just with myself. And I had a friend who was like my second hand, and with him we reached a good, I would say, way of working. He is right now in Colombia, and we were just working online. And I tried to explain everything clear with the background. For instance, I gave him the layouts in black and white, and then he just put the color. And then we also talk about the color decision, how this scene is going to look like, and how the next one with the previous one. So to try to be careful with the use of the color. But yes, being alone and doing all these things by myself is rewarding somehow, because you know how the things are working. Yeah.
For sure. How long was your production period once you had the story? Because you mentioned it took you about a year to develop the story. So once you actually started production, how long was that process?
Yes, it was since last year. I started in January and I ended up this year in April. So it was roughly 1 year and 4 or 5 months. And during that time, I had some helpers from the school. Also, I got to know a girl from Peru, another guy from Mexico, and people from Colombia. So they were just probably doing only one shot or half a shot, because I have to check them and to correct a lot. But it was a big help for me, like to learn how to deal with the people and how we could improve the things. And I also got to know, or I contact a school in Colombia, Universidad Jorge Tadeo, Diego, who such a nice guy, who helped me with a small team of students. And we somehow design a pipeline that they can also practice, and that they can also, they could also learn how to work in a team. So it was, like a wave going up. And then I was alone in the cleanup for 2 months with my friend. He was all the time with my friend Pablo. And we, I think, we at the very end with the backgrounds were 4 or 3 months just backgrounds, and the rest was already done, like character colors, and I was doing also at the same time the compositing. So as soon as I have the background, then I just put everything, and everything was at the end just amazing me.
I think it's fabulous, because you just mentioned something that I think is really interesting, and that's the work that you were doing with the school in Colombia, where, you just casually mentioned, we set up this pipeline so, students can also learn. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit more about that process and how that came about?
Yes, the team was around 15 students, and we had, as I said before, a lot of interviews, a lot of meetings, because it was very important for me to have everything clear and that we didn't lose time. I tried to to create like the interaction with the folders, and I just use a Google Drive folder and with the files to manage everything that that gave me the chance not to get lost with all this material. Because yes, the film is around 135 shots, and at the end they helped me. They helped me with, I think, 2 minutes was a lot because the film is 9, and they were working 1 month and a half, and in those days they were on holidays. So and yes, but yes, the experience to work remotely and to get to know more people, and they were so excited about my project. Since the first time when I pitched the project to them, they said, yes, I want to be part of it. And Diego also, he was so excited, and until the very end when we finished. And now they are more excited even to watch the film.
The finished product, the product of their labors. You gotta love it. Every film, every project has its challenges. What would you say was your biggest challenge making Tapir Memories?
Yes, I think the big challenge was to be able to solve the problem with the story. And the problem was basically the structure, because I knew what I wanted to tell, but I didn't know how. And it gave me the chance to also to go for some books and to do my own research and to read and to analyze on films and to see how I could break down that structure and how I could also support the concepts of these memories. So as you know, the film is just pieces, but when you have pieces, you have also to see that they can have a cohesive thing, that when you put all these pieces that they work in order to be clear for the audience. So and yeah, was I think I would say the big challenge, and the other one not that much, but was with the colors that also challenged me to do another research about color and narrative and all these things. And yeah, I would say those two things mainly. Yes.
The film has already achieved a lot of accolades, not only at Spark, but you were getting some attention for the film's message and for the powerful message that it's delivering. For you, what is your hope for the film, and what do you hope the film brings to people when they watch it?
Oof, look, my skin is arousing. Wow. Yes, dreaming. I always dream. One of the big ones is that the film can touch a lot of people, But for me, it's very important this. And to say, look, this is what's happening in Colombia. It's not just about this, what the news says, but it's this. This is somehow our reality. And they are the people who are more affected from this reality. And in the other hand, the thing that I use this trauma process is also giving some hope. And somehow it gives you, or it brings you some hope. So if some women who have been affected by this conflict, and if they can take something from this, that makes me really happy. So yeah, I'm dreaming, and I cannot reveal all my dreams now, but if touch people deep in the heart, that's a big success for me. And later, probably we can use the film in Colombia as a pedagogical tool for the new generations, for those people who are affected, and probably not only in Colombia, probably in Africa, or now, as you can see, what is happening in Israel. So that's really, really amazing for me, and really, yeah, it's touching, and also it moved me deeply.
Well, Pedro, congratulations on the film. It really is an amazing piece of work. It's shocking that it's your first film. We're expecting great things for the future. Thank you again for your time, and congratulations again, and best of luck with the film.
Thank you so much. It's a big honor for me to be here in one of the beloved festivals in Canada and in the world. So thank you for everyone. Thank you everyone for being here with me and to listen some of my words that I hope they are not dumb.
Not at all. Thank you so much, Pedro.
Okay. Thank you so much, and ciao, ciao. Adios. Gracias.